Hey there, I'm Akanksha Swaroop. Now here's a question for all those craving a US vacation or looking to meet their loved ones in the United States. Guess what's the wait time for the visa appointment in New Delhi? As of September 28th, the wait time is 833 days. That's more than 2 years. Basically, if you apply for a visa today, most likely your interview will happen in 2024. Understandably, the visa wait issue has now become a prime concern for India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar. So much so, Jaishankar has raised India's concerns with the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken. Given its centrality to education, technology, business and family reunions, the issue is crucial for India's foreign minister and India, of course. So much so, Secretary Blinken has assured India to address the backlog issue. In fact, at a press conference in Washington, this is what India's External Affairs Minister had to say.
To the people who are concerned about the visa issues, I would like to give the message that I understand their anxiety and their urgency, and which is precisely the reason why I took up the matter. To Secretary Blinken, I suggested that if there was something we could do from the Indian government to help the US government deal with this issue in a better way, we would be very open to doing it. I think there might be some issues which he might send our way, but I again feel this is an issue where obviously it's mainly for the US to do, but we will be supportive, collaborative, because it is an issue. I mean, because we have today, and I hear this on a very regular basis in India. I mean, there are families who are not able to meet. There are people who can't keep their business appointments. There are students who are waiting for a long time. So it's a really it's a genuine, serious problem of some magnitude. So, but I'm very confident that, you know, with the sincerity that Secretary Blinken showed, and the seriousness with which I hope they would address this, and you know, with any support that we can provide, we hope that things will improve.
Now, it should be noted that the estimated wait time to receive an interview appointment at a US embassy or consulate can change weekly. It is also based on actual incoming workload and staffing. These are estimates only and do not guarantee the availability of an appointment. But this is how figures stand as of September 28th. The wait time at the US Embassy in New Delhi for a visitor visa is as high as 833 days. It's still higher for Mumbai at 848 days. Now, contrast this with other countries. The wait time is only 2 days for Beijing and 450 days for Islamabad. For student visas, the wait time is 430 days for Delhi and Mumbai. Surprisingly, it's only 1 day for Islamabad and 2 for Beijing. The wait times for visa applicants living in Beijing, Shanghai and Guangzhou are significantly shorter compared to big Indian cities. It should be noted that the wait times could also be shorter in China due to lack of demand, growing uneasy relations between both nations and China's COVID-0 policy. This despite America's diplomatic standoffs and trade wars with China. Certainly, the significant difference in waiting times from India is shocking. Interestingly, the US Secretary of State has blamed the COVID-19 pandemic for a backlog of Indian visa applications.
On the question of visas, I'm extremely sensitive to this. If it's any consolation, I can tell you that this is a challenge that we're facing around the world, and it's a product largely of the COVID pandemic. Our ability to issue visas dropped dramatically during COVID, and without boring you with all of the details, this is the one self-financing part of the State Department. That is, around the world, the fees that we get for issuing visas are go to our budget, and they go to our capacity to put in place the people needed to process the visas. When COVID hit, the demand for visas fell through the floor. Visa fees went away. The system as a whole suffered. And then, of course, in actually issuing visas, even with much more limited resources, we had constraints from COVID about the number of people we could have in our embassies at any one time, et cetera. We are now building back very determinedly from that. Surging resources. We have a plan when it comes to India to address the backlog of visas that's built up. I think you'll see that play out in the coming months, but it's something that we're very focused on. These connections, these people-to-people ties, whether it's students, whether it's business people, whether it's tourists, whether it's family, this is what really links us together, and the last thing we want to do is make that any more difficult. On the contrary, we want to facilitate it. So bear with us. This will play out over the next few months, but we're very focused on it.
Now let's look at the reasons for this apparent delay. Firstly, US visa services are trying to clear a backlog after the US halted almost all visa processing worldwide in March 2020, this due to the pandemic. Secondly, Indians make up a large proportion of the recipients of H-1B and other work visas granted to skilled foreign workers. This includes many in the tech industry as well. Thirdly, the H-1B visa is a non-immigrant visa that allows US companies to employ foreign workers in specialty occupations that require theoretical or technical expertise. Now, with the US Secretary of State assuring that he will deal with this issue, here's hoping the impediments will be finally addressed.